Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining our session today. Today, we are actually glad to have in our midst the first Deputy Marshal of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, who is serving as our guest speaker for today's Virtual Leadership Seminar under the auspices of Youth Impact Movement. Let's start with a word of prayer. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this youth parliament. Grant that we may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament in discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this house, this land and wishes of members may be truly served and thy good purposes for the common human life realized in our midst. Amen.
Amen.
Honourable members, our guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen joining us, I'm glad to see you all here to actually partake in today's virtual leadership seminar. Today is our 19th edition since the 20th of January 2022, where we held the first edition. And today we are having our guest speaker in the person of Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu. He is the first Deputy Marshal of the current Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Colonel, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel is here to share with us the youth community, students and citizens of the Republic that are watching and that are joining us today on the duties of the Marshal of the Republic of Ghana. We have been hearing the title Marshal, 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 but it appears we don't know who the Marshal is, and we appear to have not given a full appreciation of the office of the Marshal. And today he's here to help us appreciate the full essence, importance, and value of that office. And in addition to that, he will equally give us information about how they handle security in the chamber. As you already know, in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, and basically the President of Ghana, no military man comes unless invited or unless they are coming to do anything of state protocol. It is because that is the full jurisdiction of the Marshal of the Republic of Ghana. And that is why you could remember on 7th January 2021, when military men entered, there was an issue of crossing of boundaries and jurisdiction. It was because, to my information, that is the jurisdiction of the Marshal. And today we have in our midst the first Deputy Marshal to let us know all about that. Our student parliamentarians and youth parliamentarians, indeed, we have marshals, but we have only been doing the surface of their job. That is why today we have decided to share the link with student parliamentarians and youth parliamentarians, for all of you to come and hear from the horse's own mouth what their job is, and for us to give a full appreciation to their office. And the next time we see them, we can better tell who they are and how they do. So that is basically what we are going to experience here. Before I invite Lieutenant Colonel to take the floor and make his presentation, please allow me to humbly introduce him to the entire gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, honourable members, who is Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu? Honourable members, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu, retired, brings a wealth of experience and expertise to the Youth Impact Movement Virtual Leadership Seminar. Born on the 9th of September 1977, Lieutenant Colonel Ofosu's educational journey includes foundational education at Forces Primary School, Burma Camp, and secondary education at Presbyterian Boys Senior High. He furthered his academic pursuits at the University of Ghana, Legon, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science. Continuing his studies, he obtained postgraduate diplomas in Public Administration and Defense and Conflict Studies from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, culminating in a Master's of Arts degree in Governance and Leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Ofosu's professional background is marked by over 20 years of military service to the Republic of Ghana, graduating from the Ghana Military Academy and completing career progression courses at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Junior and Senior Divisions. His military career encompasses various ranks and appointments, including commanding officer, before retiring voluntarily to assume the role of First Deputy Marshal of the Republic of Ghana, Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. In addition to his military service, Lieutenant Colonel Ofosu has contributed significantly to public service as he is currently serving as the First Deputy Marshal of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana for 5 years now, and he is still serving. His responsibilities include overseeing the efficient and effective management of security-related matters within the Presidents of Parliament of Ghana. Furthermore, worthy of note is his extensive peacekeeping experience, spanning over 10 United Nations missions across 7 countries, reflecting his commitment to global security and diplomacy. Honourable members, beyond his professional endeavors, Lieutenant Colonel Ofosu values family. He is currently married with 4 children, comprising of 2 girls, 2 boys. His personal interests include sports such as volleyball, basketball, swimming, tennis, table tennis, and snooker, showcasing a well-rounded personality with a passion for physical fitness and recreational activities. Ladies and gentlemen, with his diverse background, leadership and acumen, and rich experiences, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu Rtd is poised to deliver a valuable insight and perspectives as the distinguished guest for our 19th Youth Impact Movement Virtual Leadership Seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, with all due respect and humility, I invite Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu, First Deputy Marshal of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, to now assume the floor and present to us on the topic, the Marshal of the Parliament and the security in the chamber. Welcome, Colonel.
Thank you very much, Jones. I am deeply touched and honored to be hearing such good words about me. I thought it was somebody else, but eventually ended up to be me. And thank you all for participating in this seminar. I'll go ahead and then share the screen that I'll be using for my presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening once again. The topic we have today is the Marshal and the security in the chamber. Somebody will ask who the Marshal is. The Marshal in other parlance is called the Sergeant at Arms. So if you ever read anywhere or you ever heard anywhere, Sergeant at Arms, they are referring to the same thing that we call in Ghana here as the Marshal. Since it's a leadership seminar, let me just start with a quote from President John Quincy Adams, a 6th US president. And he said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. This is where it all starts and where it all ends. If you are talking about Parliament and you don't talk about the chamber, you don't talk about the speaker, you don't talk about the deputy speakers, the majority, minority leaders, members of Parliament, and even staff who work in Parliament, then your story about the Parliament of Ghana will not end. But that is not what we are going to put more emphasis on. We are going to put more emphasis on the duties and responsibilities of the Marshal and how it's able to keep security, not only in the chamber, but even in the precincts of Parliament, and ensure the safety of the Right Honorable Speaker and members of Parliament. So a little bit of history. The title Sergeant at Arms came from the time of the Crusades, when Philip the August, King of France, employed special bodyguards to protect him in the Holy Land in the 12th century. These sergeant at arms were encased in head-to-toe body armor and carried a decorated battle mace. So that is why you still see us carrying a mace. It is far back as the 12th century. That was what was being used. Later in the 13th century, King Edward I of England recruited 20 sergeant at arms as escort for his personal movements up and down as a king. These sergeants wielded royal authority and could arrest anyone for treason. Anyone can be arrested for treason. Not only was there royal sergeants, the cities and the boroughs adopted the same sergeants as well. These men took over the duties of bailiffs and reeves. And they could serve court summons, they could arrest you, they could bring you to the king. In fact, these men were to be feared. So when you are walking the street and you hear that the sergeant at arms is along this street, you better use the other route. In the 15th century, the House of Commons requested that it has its own sergeant at arms to enforce parliamentary privileges. He was called King's Officer of State. And by virtue of the king's insignia on his mace, he was empowered to exercise royal authority over ordinary citizens, but on the instructions of the speaker. So the Marshal's work in Parliament is highly based on the instructions of the speaker. You cannot be asked to arrest anybody in the chamber if you are not the speaker. So as we go on, you see why that is so. His powers were suspended when Parliament is not sitting. But when it is in session, he had complete powers of arrest, trial, and imprisonment. So when the Nova Scotia House of Assembly was established in the 18th century, there was no official sergeant at arms. There was, however, a messenger. In Ghana, we call those messengers ushers. So in the chamber, you have the marshals. In the chamber, you have the ushers in the chamber. But because there was no sergeant at arms, the messenger took over the responsibility of the sergeant at arms. John Corbeck was the first messenger that was called upon the speaker to confine Archibald Henshelwood, a deputy secretary of the province. What did he do? He just insulted a member in the house, and he was asked to be confined by the messenger. Then later in November 29, 1784, Peter Icha, who was also another messenger, was asked by the Speaker to present William Shaw to the bar of the House. So, as a marshal, the Speaker can order you to arrest or to bring anybody, any citizen, to the Privileges Committee. So when people are called to the Privileges Committee, it is the duty of the marshal who go to the house and go and escort that person into the chamber or the Privileges Committee room. The formal role of the Sergeant-at-Arms in modern legislative bodies is to keep order during meetings, and if necessary, forcibly remove any member or members or guests who are overly rowdy or disruptive. A Sergeant-at-Arms may thus be a retired soldier, like I am, a retired police officer, or other officials with experience in law enforcement and security. The Sergeant-at-Arms of the House of Commons has general charge of certain administrative and custodial functions, as well as security within the chamber of the House. So not only do we perform our security in the chamber, but the entire House, the entire precinct of Parliament. In Ghana, the Sergeant-at-Arms, as I said earlier on, is referred to as the Marshal of Parliament. So when you hear the Marshal of Parliament, it's the same as the Sergeant-at-Arms. He has the Marshal Department. The department was established when Ghana gained independence, and these are the list of the past and current Marshals of Parliament. We had Blemoke. After him, Colonel Lamte came. Then Colonel Tewia also came. Then Major Kenneth Akibati, who is the Sergeant-at-Arms at the Pan-African Parliament in South Africa. He left here as Sergeant-at-Arms and got a job in South Africa. So tomorrow, I can also get a job somewhere else to become Sergeant-at-Arms based on experience and skills that I've gained while serving here. After him was Major Asigri, and then Lieutenant Ken Buntugu also came. Then we had Colonel Ike Komi, but was then later promoted to Brigadier General whilst he was here. He came here on secondment for 2 years, but then his period is over, so he had left. In his stead, the two of us, myself and my colleague, Wing Commander Frederick Bauer, are acting in his stead until a substantive marshal is chosen. So that is myself and my colleague with the Speaker of Parliament in the middle. This was taken during the recent State of the Nation address on 27th February 2024. So what is the vision of the Marshal Department? It is to be a model parliamentary security service provider capable of meeting the ever-changing physical security needs of stakeholders. This brings us to our mission, which is to provide physical security measures at the precincts of Parliament and parliamentary properties in collaboration with state security agencies to ensure easy access, safety and security of internal and external stakeholders using professional, highly trained and well-motivated workforce adequately equipped to discharge their responsibilities. A very huge mission for us to undertake. Our core values include professionalism. We work as professionals. We have retired military officers among us, but even the civilians that we have, we make sure that your duties becomes professional. You do whatever you are asked to do to ensure security is provided for members who will be able to exercise their mandate. Teamwork. Security cannot be permanent if we don't have teamwork. If the people who are to work together disperse or are not having the cohesion to work together, you can never achieve a common purpose of security. Responsiveness is the timely response to situations. A report is made, and however we rush in quickly to attend to the situation becomes one of our core values. Integrity. We do whatever is right, even though people may not be watching us. Impartial. We work in a house where we have minority, we have majority. We can even have independent candidates here or independent parliamentarians. You have to be very impartial and offer services to everybody in equal measure. There's no way to take sides here. And then respect of diversity. There are different people, there are different institutions that come here. We as security men, we have to respect whoever comes here. So long as he's here, he's being represented by parliamentarians and he has something to do. Wherever he comes from, we show him that respect. It may interest you to know that in the standing orders of parliament, standing orders is a rule, there are rules that guide the parliamentarians. In it, we have only 2 parliamentary staff that are mentioned in these whole standing orders, and that is the clerk to parliament and the marshal to parliament. So per Article 50 of these standing orders, the marshal's mandate is stated as to bear the mace before the speaker in a procession into the chamber and recession after adjournment. To also attend on the speaker in the house, carry out directives of the speaker for the maintenance of order in the house, carry out the directives of the speaker or the clerk for the maintenance of order within the precincts of parliament, ensure the safety and security of members and officers of the house, property, and the precincts of parliament. And lastly, perform any other function that may be assigned by the speaker or the clerk. So these are the basic duties that are enshrined in the standing orders of parliament. In front of you is the mace. Somebody will ask, what is the mace? It is a symbol of authority for the Right Honorable Speaker. Without the mace, if the speaker enters the chamber, he will be referred to as an ordinary member. He cannot preside over sessions and meetings if the mace is not in position. So the mace is a powerful tool. It's like the staff ahead of a chief. Very powerful. If it doesn't enter the chamber with speaker's procession, no plenary can go on or can be taken as serious. So the mace is a powerful tool that we have here. This is also the chamber. I'm sure you have visited Parliament before, so you know how the chamber is segregated. I don't know if you can see, but where I'm circling the pointer is where the speaker sits. And in front of the speaker is the 4 bench personnel who sit there. They are called the clerks at table. Right in front of the clerks at table is the dispatch box, where you have ministers, majority and minority leaders come and answer questions or make statements from that dispatch box. Then on the right of the speaker is where you have the majority seated, headed by the leader. And then on the left where speaker is seated is minority sits, headed by the minority leader. Then right behind the speaker, above is the press gallery. Opposite the press gallery is where visitors, like when you visited here the last time you sat, it's called the public gallery. The marshal, if you can see somebody standing here, just behind him is a table and chair, and that is where the marshal sits, so that he has eye contact with the speaker and with about 90% of members in the chamber. 90% of members in the chamber. So he sits there, his eyes go down, he looks up, he looks down. If he sees anything that is untoward, he draws the attention of other security men from the marshal department that are in to attend to it, or personally walk to address that issue. One of our duties after returning the maize, that is my good self paying compliment to the speaker right in front of the maize. So chamber issues and accessibilities. The chamber is the area where MPs conduct plenary and debates on legislative matters. It is open to the Right Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, and some selected staff. It is not every member of staff that can enter the chamber. If you have any chance to enter the chamber for any duty, it has to go through the marshal. The marshal has to grant you admittance before you can enter the chamber. We adhere strictly to dress code. You can't just wear anything at all and enter the chamber. If you are a staff, you have to be in suit. You have to be in coat at all times. You can't just wear your shirt and untuck in without a tie and enter the chamber. You have to be in tie before you enter the chamber. If you're a visitor, when you come and you are not in tie, we will advise you that you go and get a tie to wear before you come in. At worst, if you don't have, we have a couple of them hanging around. We will just get one for you to wear before. You don't cross our legs in the chamber when the speaker is sitting. Whether you're a man or woman, you don't do that. No admittance in the house when the house is adjourned. So as currently the house has adjourned synodai, and then the chamber is closed. It is not open to anybody, except when visitors come around from outside the country and they want to have a look at the place. We open it up briefly for them to have a look. The general public is allowed during plenary sessions in the chamber. So the security architecture of the Marshal of Parliament. So the security architecture of Parliament is composed of the marshals. And we have the Parliamentary Security Unit, that is the unarmed civilians that work with us. We have the police, the Parliament Protection Unit, that is made up of the Ghana Police Service. We have an attachment of police personnel that are attached to us. And then we have the Parliamentary Fire Unit, also attached to us from the Ghana National Fire Service. The department is charged with the responsibility for ensuring safety and security of the Right Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speakers, leadership, and honorable members, staff of Parliamentary Service, visitors, and even the general public that enter the precinct of Parliament, as well as the residences of leadership. We have a very daunting and huge task. The mission, as stated here, is what I stated earlier, so I will not belabor on it. The department, therefore, works in tandem with all other facets of the security services. We have the National Security Secretariat, the National Intelligence Bureau, we have the Research Department, Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Police, Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Immigration Service, Prison Service, Customs, etc. We do all this to achieve our mission. Our duties and responsibilities. The department provides 24-hour security services to the President of Parliament, residents of leadership, and on parliamentary properties that are scattered around. Services include and not limited to the following. We conduct both foot and mobile patrols. We do protection duties, law enforcement in the precinct, traffic control, clearance, movement, and crowd control. We do investigations and intelligence gathering, security awareness activities, monitoring and surveillance of the precinct. We do special duties when there are special events, and we need to provide event security. We are there to provide it. Then we liaise with the other state law enforcement agencies to ensure that our duties are met or performed. It may interest you to know that the compound, the entire compound of Parliament is a privileged compound. And when you are being pursued in town and you enter the precinct of Parliament, the police or whoever is pursuing you can no longer pursue you or can arrest you. They can only talk to the marshal, and the marshal will now arrest you and hand you over to any police or any law enforcement agency that is after you. Our mandate includes administer the physical security measures of Parliament of Ghana in collaboration with other state security agencies, maintain order within the boundaries of Parliament. We provide physical security support for the Right Honorable Speaker and members. We ensure adequate security arrangements during ceremonies, parliamentary sitting, and other official functions in Parliament. We oversee security activities in the chamber, including ushering meal and food services for members and staff. We ensure compliance with environmental, safety, and security regulations and best practices in and around the chamber. We also provide ancillary support to enable Parliament to carry out its functions effectively and efficiently. We are responsible for the protection and bearing of the maize of Parliament of Ghana, responsible for carrying out ceremonial duties involving attendance of Speaker of Parliament. So if Speaker has to do any function outside Parliament, we will have to also be there to ensure his security as well as carry out any ceremonial functions that is required of the Speaker. Let me now talk about the layout of Parliament. Some of you have been here before, but I'm sure you were not taken round to the whole area. So this is the entire layout of Parliament. It has 3 gates. It has a ceremonial gate that is found at the southern portion. We have the PW gate that is found at the top right corner here. And then we have the protocol gate that is also found in this area. So as you can see clearly, we have the Job 600 Tower block and annex. Then we have the Speaker's block. We have the banquet hall. We have the MP's car park. We have the State Protocol car park. We have the ceremonial gate. Then we have the administration block, the chamber annex block. We have the chamber block itself, where some of you visited the last time. We have driver's rest area. We have visitors center. And then staff and visitors car park. It may interest you to know that Parliament does not control the entire State House. We are just tenants of this area. So that the layout you see is just our portion that we are supposed to take care of. We have the presidential household, we have state protocol, we have the chieftaincy ministry. They are all co-located on the same State House. But then what I've shown you is just Parliament layout. The car park that we have includes the Job 600 Tower block car park that is behind Job 600. Then we have the Speaker's block car park. We don't allow anybody at all to just go and park there except you are a visitor to the Speaker. We have the MP's car park. Then we have the State Protocol car park, where visitors and other staff are allowed to park there. Then we have the staff and visitors car park. We have administration block car park, and then the leadership car park. The leadership car park is only meant for the 26 leaders of Parliament. An institution like Parliament cannot go on without having threats that are incumbent on us, And so some of these threats are as follows. We have terrorist activities and violent extremism. That is a threat to Parliament. We have espionage, people who are trying to spy on us, people who are trying to carry information from us and send it to other, for people who are interested in getting those information. We have targeted killing. We have visitors who come here from all over the world. We have people from America, people from all other states come here. People may try them in their various countries and may not get them. And when they come to Ghana, because of our level of tolerance and our security level, people can take advantage and target these people and may kill them. So targeted killing is something that can happen. People can sabotage us. They can cut off our electricity, they can cut off they can even blow the chamber so that we don't get anywhere to work. Theft, robbery and banditry, burglary, fraud, assault, cyber threats, they are all part of the threats that we visit here. Recently, a lot of cyber attacks on MPs. People are using their photos and their pictures on social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, and whatever, to be soliciting for money using MPs' pictures. I'm sure some of you may have seen a couple of them. So it is a threat that we have here. Demonstrations, it is always something that comes here. If anybody wants to go demonstration anywhere, for any reason, it ends up in Parliament. Why? Because it is where the people are represented. Because of people representation, they want to bring their petitions to Parliament so that it can be addressed on the floor of Parliament. Sexual harassment, stalking, and blackmail are some of the things that are prone to us. Environmental threats. We have reptiles and rodents that also worry us from time to time. We are very close to the Osu Cemetery. And you have snakes and other rodents burrowing through the ground and then appearing in Parliament from time to time. So those are some of the threats that we have researched or we see. Since we are talking about security, just a piece of advice: security is a shared responsibility, and we have to bear that in mind. We have to be each other's keeper and be responsible for our own safety and security. Whether you are in the precincts of Parliament or even you as members of youth Parliament, you have to know that your own safety and the safety of others should be paramount at all times. Anytime you are planning, you are taking plans to do anything, make sure that security becomes one of the first things you look at. If you are within the premises and then you have to report any crime or violent situations that threatens your life, the security office closer to you is the best place to go. If you have any issue, talk to the nearest security personnel you may see and they will be able to assist you. Most of us are working in offices, and therefore we have to take office security as serious as possible. Ensure that official and confidential documents are secured and well under key and lock. We do not share our passwords. We don't leave our keys on top of our doors. You have to be wary or suspicious of the person next to you. You don't know what he or she has in mind. In security, as we say, no one is an angel. The person can be very nice to you. In the next moment, he has pulled a gun on you, he has pulled a knife on you, he's robbing you of your items. Avoid leaving your office doors open in your absence. Even if you are going to the washroom for 5 minutes, lock your door, carry your key with you. After 5 minutes, come back. It takes less than 30 seconds for a thief to steal something valuable from you in the office. So don't just say, I'm going to the washroom, so it's just here, I'll leave my office open. No, by the time you come back, the untoward had been done. You don't leave your laptops, phones, and other valuables in shared offices. You keep them secure in your drawers under lock and key when you are not in the office. Some of the things you must do when you come here: security will approach you. If you're a visitor, you have to dress properly when you come here, otherwise the security will turn you away. Always wear your ID cards. As you can see, even though I'm sitting in the comfort of my office, I have my ID card hanging in my neck because I don't know when I will step out. All our doors are badged. You have to access it with your ID card. So if you leave it in the office and you go, you cannot have access back to your office except someone helps you. Vehicles must be checked thoroughly at all times. You don't know what you may be carrying, what somebody may have placed in your car. So those of you who are driving and you enter here, your cars will be checked. You respect and obey the instructions of the security officers. They are doing their professional job. You may be a clerk, you may be a staff, you may be a well-paid person somewhere. When you come here and security say, put your bag through the scanning machine, you obey and put your bag through the scanning machine. He is also doing his professional job. So we must respect them at all times. Vehicle security is something that we also take into cognizance here in Parliament. We showed you all the appropriate areas where you can park. If you're a visitor, you know where your parking area is. If you are a member of Parliament, you know where your parking area is. If you're a staff, you know where your parking area is. We strictly ensure all this whilst in Parliament. When you come here, you ensure that your vehicle is locked and confirm so. Sometimes some of you use a remote to lock your car. There are gadgets people may use while sitting in the car park. When you get there, they activate those gadgets. When you lock the car with a remote, it may not engage. When you go, thinking that your car is locked, they will now enter your car and take everything that they want to take from your car. They may even carry your car away itself. So anytime you lock your car with a remote control, hold the handle and try to open to check whether it is really locked. Be looking around before sitting in your car. Don't just come and then enter your car and sit down. You can go around the car, you go around and check your tires are safe, your number plate has not been taken away or disengaged, so that when you move, somebody will approach you and tell you that your number plate is fallen. By the time you get up from the car to attend to it, somebody had put a gun or a knife on you or taken your car from you. You can always use your car keys as self-defense. If you can see me, this is something you can do. If you have a car key, a bunch of keys with you, and you don't have any if anybody approaches you, you can punch the face of that person or somewhere that will hurt him most, and the person will leave you. So you can use your car keys or a bunch of keys that you have for self-defense. Those of you who have alarms in your car, it is also good to have it. If yours is not working, try and then get it repaired. Do not expose valuables in your car. It is always dangerous. People will see, even one CD, somebody can break in your car and get it. You don't know how hungry people are. So if you display one CD in your car and the person is looking for money to buy water, he can break your windscreen or your side glass and just get that one CD and do whatever he wants to do. So don't expose valuables in your car. You can put them under the seat or hide them in a glove compartment. Anytime you want to sit in your car, go around it, if possible, before you start the car. As soon as you enter the car, also, before you do this each and every time. You park at appropriate places. Do not park on lawns and pavements. Always use appropriate routes. As we say, shortcuts can be dangerous. So if you are supposed to not to use a one-way route, don't use it. Go towards the right route that have been carved for you. Do not walk through vehicular passages. You see the way the cars are neatly parked. The area behind it is not meant for you to walk. Somebody can forget that he's supposed to go forward and he's reversing. He will hit you whilst you are walking there. Report any suspicious movement or persons, unattended parcels, packages, luggage, and other materials to security. Sometimes people leave such things around cars and the rest. You don't know what may be in. It may be a bomb. It may be something that a terrorist has given him to come and place close to somebody's car. If you see such a parcel, quickly inform security about it. Things that aid us in our security includes our guards themselves, the police and the fire personnel you see. We have surveillance systems in place. We have close to 654 CCTV cameras in the Parliament House. 664 CCTV cameras. They are installed everywhere, apart from the washrooms and then offices. We have X-ray scanners, walk-through machine, handheld metal detectors that we use to detect unwanted and dangerous weapons that are being carried by people. We have vehicle undercarriage scanners that are put in place on certain occasions. We are getting a permanent one to fix for our own use. And then you, as an individual, you are one of our security aids. If you ensure your security and ensure the security of others, the whole place will be safe for all of us to use. Suspicious behavior, all employees are also checked. We have, as I said, 664 CCTV cameras that are being manned 24 hours. People are looking at it. When they see people with suspicious behavior, loitering around in a car park or standing in areas a couple of days for no reasonable explanation, those people are quickly apprehended and then interrogated. Persons demonstrating an unusual interest in entry points, asking certain questions. When does this person come? When does this person go? Looking at surveillance access. You see whether our cameras are working. You see people and they're looking at the cameras left, and then you see that there are people who may want to have something bad to do. Our access control, such as alarm barriers, doors, gates, and locks, people who are asking questions about those things, we should be suspicious of them. They may be employees. We should be suspicious of them and then question them. People who are also recording the facility, they take photographs and videos and diagrams at certain places, at certain portions, at certain times, without any special reason. We call them to attention. If possible, we even delete the pictures that they have taken and ask them to leave the presence at once. We question individuals who lack proper credentials. Somebody will say, I'm coming to visit my MP. We ask them, okay, what's the name of your MP? He cannot even mention one MP's name. Then how can you say you are coming to visit this MP? We turn those people away. Persons without a need to know, seeking knowledge about facility security procedures and personnel evacuation procedures and all those things, we bring them to book. Why are you asking our entry point? Why are you asking the types of locks we use? Why are you asking access control measures? It means that you want to find a loophole. You want to find access, even though you don't have that permission or access. People will be nervous and have certain unusual behaviors. We ask them probing questions, and then those people are also questioned. Trespassers in employee-only areas are also apprehended and then directed to go to where they are supposed to go. Abandoned objects and vehicles, when we see them on the screen quickly, we rush to them. We get a person who put it there to take it away, or get bomb experts to even come and have a look at them. So entry in our precinct here, we use identification badges. As I said, my badge is also an access control. Photo IDs and biometric IDs are also in place here for us to use. We use smart cards and badges, especially for the Job 600 vehicle entrance, where we have a boom bar that only smart cards can be used to engage the boom bar for leadership to go and park their cars in there. You have certain areas you use PIN numbers and codes before you can also enter. Biometric devices are also in place for clocking and other checks as well. CCTV cameras are all over except in the washrooms, as I stated earlier. Contraband screening, we use a highly sophisticated X-ray scanners that can even look to your bone to see whatever you are carrying. If you are trying to even hide something under your skin, we have X-ray cameras around the chamber that can be able to detect all those explosives, nuclear and other metals that you may be carrying on your body here in Parliament. Information security is something that we also take cognizance of and are very particular about. We don't circulate any memos on social media. So if you see any memo from Parliament that is on social media, we quickly investigate how it got there and address that issue. It is something that doesn't go on. Memos are supposed to be internal correspondence, and therefore, why should it have its way to the social media? No recordings of meetings in the House except when it is specifically authorized and for the purpose of records keeping in Parliament. It is done. So when you come to listen to plenary, you can't be recording. When you come to committee meetings, you can't be recording. No circulation of MPs and other staff contacts and information on social media or to anybody else. It is not right. Without seeking the consent of the MP or the staff before you can share his or her contact. We restrict office discussions to the office. Even we don't tell our wives whatever, our wives and husbands, whatever was discussed in the office, we keep things to ourselves. It is only on need to know basis. I will now talk dress code. As we are in charge of security and discipline, dress code is one of the areas that we look at. And so when you also come here, we ensure that you also abide by the dress code that we have. At all times, we dress corporate. If you are working in a bank, you are working in other institutions, corporate environment, the type of dressing is what we do here as well. And it is because the House sits from Tuesday to Friday. Special occasions or certain days that Monday sitting, but from Tuesday to Friday is corporate dressing. African wears can be done on Mondays. So our Friday wear is on Monday. So on Mondays, you can see some of our staff wearing African wear, except when there's a special sitting on Mondays and the House is in session, the chamber is being used, then we go back and dress corporate. So before the House sits on Monday, every staff will be aware and will have to come to work dressed appropriately. Jacket must be on anytime your work takes you closer to the chamber. This is for staff and people who visit the chamber. Color of shirts as a staff, light blue, white are most appropriate. Your suit should be black or blue-black, blue, gray, brown, etc. Not a type of Obinim type of suits and Obinim type of shoes that people wear around. We don't wear those things whilst we are working here. Socks must match with the shoes or the trousers. I'm sure this is a general rule that all men should wear. These days, you see people wearing all sorts of socks. People wear black shoes, black trousers, and white socks. It is not gentleman. Anytime you wear socks, it must either match with your shoe, the color of your shoe, or match with the color of your trousers. Belt must always match with shoe. If you're wearing a brown belt, you wear a brown shoe. If you're wearing a black shoe, you're wearing a black belt. That is how it's supposed to be. No slippers are allowed here. As a visitor or a staff member, You can't bring slippers here. Down or block shoe or averagely high-heeled shoes is most appropriate. The place is full of tiles. And so if you wear pencil kind of shoes around, you'll be worrying yourself walking around. So block down shoe, averagely high-heeled, it's okay for you to go. No anklets and outrageous necklace are worn here. People wearing big earrings like globe, having very big circular earrings and all those things about here. No piercings. People who wear more than 2 earrings left and right, we try as much as possible to let them remove them if you are a staff. As a gentleman or a lady, your hair should be well kept. We don't allow multicolored hair here. People will braid their hair, some blue, some white, some gray, and no. Let it just be one. If it is brown, let it be brown. If it is black, let it be black. That is all. We don't allow people with orange hair and all those colored hairs in this area. As a gentleman, you should have a nice and neat haircut as always. Mini skirts are about here. If you are wearing a skirt, it should not be above the knee. It should not be above the knee. We don't wear sleeveless here. Sleeveless and spaghetti strap dresses when walking around the precinct. No, you can't do that. You can wear sleeveless dress whilst you are in your office. You take off your jacket and your sleeveless dress you can wear. But when you want to step out of your room, you make sure you get a jacket on so that you cover your shoulders. You don't want to be seeing shoulders here. Avoid unnecessary makeup and do not overdress. People do outrageous makeups. I don't know who you want to entice or who you want to impress here. Don't overdress. More dressing is okay. The gentleman, autofista. I don't know whether some of you are aware what autofista is. Three-quarter dresses are also avoided. So these are some of the pictures of things that we like here and some that we don't like here. So you dress corporate, as we said. It can be with a jacket on like this one. It can be a straight dress like this one. It can be with another jacket on. Straight dress, long sleeve, that is fine. Another straight dress here. When the house is not in, you can also dress this way. There's a very nice African wear that you can also wear whilst you are here. The one that we don't like, you see spaghetti top. You can bring that to Parliament. Very multicolored dressing. It is not good. If you are wearing an African wear, you should not be displaying shoulders. Like shoulders. So let's see the ones that we don't like. The spaghetti top. We don't like. Okay. The next one is dressing showing your shoulders. Dressing showing your shoulders. It is not allowed. The next one is people wearing anklets and outrageous piercings are not allowed. The gentlemen, this is what we talk about as autofista. When your trouser is just at beneath your buttocks, showing your boxer shorts. I don't know whether you want people to see the color of your boxer shorts or you want people to know that for once you are wearing a pant or something underneath your trousers. It is not a very nice dressing. That is what people call autofista. You can dress appropriately in a corporate environment. The two gentlemen here are dressed. You can see this gentleman here also nicely dressed. This one as well. We say we can wear African wear here, but it doesn't mean that you should go and put on cloth and come and work in Parliament. These ones will not allow it. And then people wearing jeans, tattered jeans, as if you have been attacked by dogs or wild animals. It is not allowed here. This kind of multicolored socks, as I said earlier on, as a gentleman, your socks should match with your shoes or trousers. This multicolored socks, some of us don't know, but they are status symbols for certain kind of people. And I don't want to go into that discussion now. People who dress like that, other people look at you and they think that you are one of them. And they'll be approaching you with certain gestures and certain touch and certain holds. You may not understand, but it's because you are displaying that you are one of them. So let's watch the kind of socks we wear. So autofista is not allowed. Multicolored socks, not allowed. Don't put on kente and traditional wear and think it's okay to come to Parliament with it as a staff. And then the dog attacked trousers should also be avoided. Gentlemen and ladies, I don't know if there are ladies here, but this brings me to the end of my presentation. Within the past 1 hour or so, I've tried to bring to you exactly what the Marshal of Parliament do. Most of us are not aware of the duties and responsibilities of the Marshal and the extent and power which we wield. As we saw earlier on, we are people to be feared. But then we have tried as much as possible to make it friendly, the place friendly as possible so that we can interact. It's a human institution. We work with people. We don't always have to be mean at them. But then when you go wrong, we are free, but we are firm. And we ensure that the right thing is done. Just to ensure that the security of Parliament is upheld. The security of the Speaker is upheld. The security of staff, the security of members of Parliament, visitors, and even the general public, to make the place a nice place for you to come and visit and then get whatever information that you want. I thank you very much for the opportunity. I will now pause here for questions and clarifications. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. This is such a wonderful presentation, and it has been an eye-opening and a learning opportunity for us, the young ones. As a matter of fact, we actually know little of your distinguished office. And from your lecture, we have been able to learn a lot about it, and we are extremely happy with that, sir. I would now like to open the floor for questions. So, honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have questions for our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu, please raise your hand and I'll give you the opportunity to ask the questions you have. The floor is now open for questions, please. So we'll take the first question from Emmanuel. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Yes, Emmanuel, unmute yourself and ask the question. And please make it short and precise.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Marshal. Please, in your submission, you did mention that when one happens to commit an offense and the person gets within the precinct of Parliament, the police or the military can no longer arrest the person unless the Marshal hand over the person to the security. So I'm asking that, is that particular right limited to those that work within the Parliament, that is the members of Parliament, including other officials, or it is across board, any individual? Thank you.
Should I go ahead and answer, or I take a couple of questions and then try to address them?
Okay.
Well, I think that's the only question for now. I think you can answer after you're answering. We'll get other questions there.
Okay. All right. So we have immunity of parliament. Immunity of parliament, just like the embassies. The embassies that we have from the various countries that are here, their land area is considered to be part of their national country. For instance, the American embassy you see here, the land size is added to the general land size of America. So if somebody is after you and you enter the embassy, the person, the one pursuing you can no longer follow you, whether military, police, or whatever. But then the security in the embassy can arrest you and will hand you over to whoever, after satisfying himself whether you are supposed to be arrested or not, then he can now hand over. The same thing applies to parliament. So we have immunity of parliament. It doesn't apply to only members of parliament or even staff. Anybody at all, when you are being pursued, either rightfully or wrongfully, and you enter into parliament, our police around will shield you when you are inside. And then they will draw the attention of the marshal. And then we will now come and investigate and find out whether you have stolen and you are hiding, you are coming to hide in parliament. Then we can now hand you over to parliament. We can now hand you over to the police. But the police cannot follow you into parliament and come and arrest you and take you. There will be contempt of parliament and they will be held to the privileges committee. It is a well-known instruction to all the security services. So it doesn't apply only to staff, but then to the general public as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, we'll take the next question to our guest speaker. Yes, if you have a question, you can raise your hand and I'll call you to speak and ask your question. If you have a question. Or I equally have some questions myself, so if you don't have a question, I'll ask my question. Okay. Our guest speaker, you indicated a particular parking space as that for the MPs. The last time I came to Parliament of Ghana, I didn't see that place big enough to accommodate 270, around 265 vehicles. So I'm very curious how all 265, because you said the speaker has a different parking space and you said 26 leaders. I'm also curious how the leaders have added up to 26. I'm only aware of the 5 on each side and then the deputy speakers and maybe if the clerk and the deputy clerks are added, but I still don't see it adding to 26. So I just want clarification on if the space there actually accommodates the rest of the MPs and how the number of leaders added up to 26 in a session of the speaker said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jones. First of all, Parliament has been here since 1993. And then the number of MPs as at then were less than 200. And so the car park as at then could contain as much as that number. And even those days, not all of them were using this V8 and all those things that could take much parking. Currently, we have 275 MPs. That car park was named in 1993 as MP's car park, but obviously cannot contain the 275. So what happens is they spill over to the staff car park as well. Their drivers will drop them and then come to the car park area to come and park. Their designated parkings now become like first come, first serve. So those who come early get very nice places to park at their car park. the rest, if you come late, you come and join the staff at the staff car park. It is all because the land size doesn't belong to us, and then we don't have room to even expand. Some time ago, when there was the issue about building a new parliament, it was vehemently opposed. And so those things would have been taken care of when we build our own parliament. We have our own land, we have our own security architecture, and then car park and for MPs, staff, and everybody. That would be ideal, but it didn't materialize as at then. Going forward, if that materialized, we will now get very conducive car park for all the MPs. Now, the leadership car park is 26 car parks. Our leaders are 13, but then the clerks and deputy clerks, as well as very, very senior parliamentarians who have been here for longer periods, are given access to that car park. And then anybody, I think 2 people from each side who are convalescent, people who are, excuse my language, physically challenged, we give them 2 of the car parks there. So the leadership car park is 26. We have 12 on the majority side and then 14 on the minority side. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Perfectly well, sir. Perfectly well. Since the others still don't have a question, I'll proceed with my questions.
Go ahead.
Sir, you made mention that the Marshal is in charge of security and basically to avert even the destruction of the properties of Parliament and even the precincts. I recall last year, not in the circumstance of Parliament of Ghana, but the Cross River State House of Assembly, that is the parliament for the Cross River State in the Republic of Nigeria. Yeah. There was a fusion between the former governor and the new governor. The former governor had some of his loyalties in the State House of Assembly, and they wanted to impeach the governor. So what actually happened was that the incumbent governor led an action to burn the chamber of the State House of Assembly. They burnt the speaker's table, the MP's table and chairs, and the entire room just became so bad. And I'm curious, if they had a marshal, how possible did the marshal allow such an action to happen? I'm very curious about such a circumstance. Although you might not be there, if you could share your opinion on that, I would like it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I may not speak for the marshal as at then, and I don't know what circumstances or what situation he was in as at then, but it is a general rule for marshal to take care of the parliament and its precinct. Maybe the numbers were overwhelming and they took over the security. They kept them at bay whilst they carried out their perpetration. Arson can be done by anyone. Maybe they have bottles of fuel in their cars. They just take it, light it, and then throw it over whichever security blockage may have been there. But then that is why we have state security in our precinct. They wield arms. They hold weapons. So if such a thing is to come closer to us, of course, our police will be able to pick those people up. And then certain arrests can be made before it escalates further. So I may not speak for the marshal as at then, or the sergeant at arms as at then, because I don't know the circumstances that happened. But obviously, we will prevent such untoward behavior in the chamber, especially on the orders of the speaker. It will have to be carried out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I agree with you because when I looked on the event, the governor came with a lot of people marching to the chamber. They were about impeaching him. So he was like, you cannot impeach me without due procedure. And then in order to stop the impeachment, they bounced and maybe, as you said, the number was so much and then they burnt their chamber. Yeah, so I agree with your opinion, sir.
Okay, if you also recall, January 6, 2021, we almost had such an incident closer to us. But then we were up in our games and were able to curtail that. We protect the maize, we protect the speaker, and we protect the staff as at then. It was an unruly behavior that was perpetrated by both sides of the house, which they regretted anyway at the end of the day, because it hadn't happened like that in Ghana. But then it almost escalated to something else, but we managed to bring the situation under control. So it's something that can happen anywhere in the world, but then certain preparations and certain measures need to be put in place for such a situation to be done. For now, we have had mechanisms in place. If there are any disturbance in Parliament or like almost a fist fight between members of either side, there are mechanisms we have put in place to prevent them from getting clashes against each other and then separate them for peace to prevail. I don't want to share that mechanism that we have put in place here.
Yes, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, sir. Thank you very much for expressing your opinion. Honourable members, yes, sir. Honourable members, any other questions? Please, if you have a question, please raise your hand and I'll call you to ask the question. Please just raise your hand just like this, and I'll call you to ask your question. For me, I have several questions, although I cannot ask all of them here. So, in our practice as youth parliamentarians, with the little information we had before an encounter with you, we knew that at least we realized that the marshals were having the title colonel and then all those. So it was clear to us that they had to be former military men. So, for instance, in Youth Impact Parliament, we have a former cadet commander of Technical University to become a marshal. In their circumstance, because our job or their circumstance might not be as serious as what happens in the Parliament of Ghana, I'd like to know if you want to prescribe some standard practices that you expect marshals of youth parliaments or student parliaments to at least do at their level, because some of them, all they know is just to hold the mace and then come and present it, and then they sit down and then watch everything happen. If you could prescribe some expectations that you expect students and youth parliament marshals to do, I think we'll like that for the purposes of our learning, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I am sure that after this presentation, all those who are marshals in the various parliaments will now know what is expected of them. You are talking about past military officers being marshals. You know, the marshal's duty also entails certain ceremonial duties. And so when you talk about ceremonial ceremonies, people in the armed forces are very much versed in it. Procedures, processions, flags, arrangement, and all those things are part of the duties of the marshal. And because we have served in the military before and we know those kind of standards, that is what it becomes a preferred person, a preferred institution to become the marshal. I am not saying police may not do that. Police also have another ceremonial duties that they also perform closer to what the military do. And so that is why you see most of us being retired colonels or retired officers from the military. Now, anybody from the military or police have certain disciplinary character. And somebody who has to ensure discipline has to even be disciplined himself. And people who have passed through the system, the security and intelligence services, have that perceived disciplinary traits with them, and therefore they can be able to espouse that traits to other people who are there. For instance, where I always go and park my car at the staff car park, there are places here I could come and park because I am the marshal or deputy marshal. But I have restricted myself that since I have not been granted the permission to come and park here, I park down at the staff car park and always walk to my office. And that is discipline. Self-discipline is doing what is right without being told what to do or how to do it. So if I have that trait in me, next time when somebody comes to park there, I have every right to tell that person that you cannot park there. That is not your car park. Go to where your car park is. Because I'm justified because of what myself I'm doing. So all marshals should be disciplined. So I'm happy that some of them are in the cadet corps. You know, discipline is there. It is imbibed in them whilst you are under training. And so he can best even control the chamber because he is disciplined. He knows how to handle people and how to bring decorum in the atmosphere when there are behaviors that are untoward within plenary in the chamber. So thank you so much. The next question.
Thank you very much, sir. Honourable members, any questions? If members don't have any questions, then we'll proceed to close the session.
You have three more questions. You ask them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So, I wanted you to also clarify, apart from the discipline, you actually enrolled, you actually captured the duties of the marshal. What are some of the things that you expect our student marshal or youth marshals to do? For example, should it be of the fact that anytime, I think even the handling of the mace, some of us are not really clear about it. The mace that we have, we don't know whether if the house suspends, are they to come for the mace or not, or they leave it there. We want clarifications on that. And also, are they always supposed to sit at the left of the speaker, or they can sit at anywhere? We want some clarifications on that. And then also, is it always that it is the speaker that must direct that marshal go and handle this before he handles, or can he stand up on his own when he realizes that there is a security threat coming? When members are when the house is about to go to disarray, then he stands up to take an action to ensure that things go. We want a little bit clarifications on that for the purpose of our youth parliaments and student parliaments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jones, for your question. The procedures, I think it's something that, like this presentation that has gone on, perhaps next time we may take a talk or a discussion on the procedures for the marshals so that we can get them in line and tell them what to do. They must be ahead of the procedures in the chamber. There are certain things that you do before the house rises and all that. We need to brief them. You remember when we came to Po and then went to Cape Coast and Tamale, we had spent some few times to groom the marshals and let them know exactly what they have to do. And it is, I think, as we go on and we have such exposures coming up, they will be able to catch the drift. The marshal should always sit to the right side of the speaker. And where he sits must be, he must have eye contact with the speaker and the majority of the members. So that if something is happening, his eyes are always there. Okay. Now, when something happens, a rowdy situation erupts, what the marshal will do is to stand up and look in direction. If the speaker doesn't authorize you to go and walk that person out, what you can do is to walk to the person and talk to him in a way so that he can stop. But you cannot walk that person out. But if the speaker tells you, Marshal, walk him out, the person cannot sit down. The person cannot sit down. Whatever you have to do to walk that person out as a marshal, you have to do it. Okay. But then if there's an attack, assuming there's a terrorist attack, you don't need the speaker to direct you, the marshal, what to do. You have the security eye. You have the intelligence eye. If you see this is coming to happen, you quickly, either you dash to tell speaker to get speaker out of the place, or get even the clerks at table out of the place before the untoward happens. You have to get that security and intelligence eye to pick those things and then advise the speaker accordingly. But then in procedures or things that the speaker will wish that it doesn't happen, he has to tell you. There are people who are having discussions when the speaker is talking. He tells Marshal, stop them. Marshal, prevent them from doing that. Quickly, we move in there and then you stop them. Sometimes we can go there on our own to tell them, oh, speaker is looking at you. The cameras are picking you. You have members who will be reading newspaper. Whilst you want him to stop, the speaker cannot tell him. You, the marshal, you go to them. When you tell a member that the camera has picked him reading the newspaper whilst plenary is ongoing, sometimes they feel shy about it. So quickly they put the newspaper aside. So in a way, we also find a way to approach them and correct them here and there. But for somebody to remain in the chamber or to go out of the chamber, it has to be on the orders of the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are learning a lot today.
Sure.
We are actually learning a lot today. Honorable members, please, do you have questions? Okay, Emmanuel, let's have you. Yes, Emmanuel,
Okay.
please ask your question.
Okay. Mr. Guest Speaker, please. So I want to ask a question with regards to what happened on the night or 7th of January. That was when the elections were ongoing for the speakership. We realized that there was a military. The military invaded the Parliament House. So I want to know what actually occasioned that, and at what point can military enter the Parliament House while the marshals are around without any defense or without any protection? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ima. The night of 6th and 7th January 2021 is one of the nights that will always go in the annals of this country. Remember, as at then, we just had members elect. Okay, members elect, but they have not been sworn in. They can only be sworn in by the speaker. And so that was when we were electing the speaker. So the speaker now is elected by members elect, and then the speaker will now come and swear in the members of parliament. Now, as at then, there was no president, there was no minister. So there was no Minister of Interior, Minister of Defense, Minister of Foreign Affairs. They were all members elect. Now, for the military or police to enter the chamber or to come into the chamber, it may be in a situation where the marshal is overwhelmed, and then he will call the military or police to come and intervene. As you can see, they were throwing insults at each other. There were scuffles here and there, but nobody was hitting each other. There was no fighting. And so the marshals, as at then, knew that we could handle the situation. It's a matter of using the clerk of parliament, who was by then acting as a speaker, to talk to them, and the marshal also talked to them to get understanding so that we go on to whatever procedures that we were carrying out. Now, these are matters that are subject to interpretations or whatever. We are not the ones who call in the military or the police. Whoever called them, I don't know who called them or on what basis they were called in, because we were handling the situation. Even though there were scuffles, we come in to prevent them from clashing at each other, from hitting and beating each other. So their coming into the chamber was not on our call. And whoever called them, up to today, I don't know. So there is the marshal who can call in the military or the police when they are overwhelmed. At that very moment, we were not overwhelmed because we had our security in place, and then the procedures, as I said, that we have now, if we had it by then, we wouldn't have gotten to that extent. But now it is something that we can be sure that it will never happen again. 6 and 7 January 2025 is coming, and we are going to implement our mechanisms, and then you will be here and clap for us for a showman force that we will exhibit that day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Highly appreciated. And we are really glad for your response. At this point in time, we are approaching the end of our session. And we would like to first of all once again call on our guests, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu, to give his closing remarks prior to the end of our program. Sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. One last correction before I give a closing remark. Anytime you mention my rank, don't forget to add a retired. If I'm serving, you can leave it at Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu, but I'm retired, so you necessarily have to add the retired to it next time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this esteemed opportunity. I can tell you that this is my first time of doing a virtual leadership seminar, even with the Youth Parliament, and it's a privilege. I am hoping that we may have such opportunities going forward for us to express ourselves in different ways, maybe not just as the duties of the marshals in the chamber, but even in other areas where our expertise can be brought to bear. I thank you very much. I'm so privileged and thankful to all of you, the organizers. I know it has not been easy. Viglo Jones has always been in contact, and then when he told me that I have to do such a thing, I couldn't say no. I kept postponing and pushing him here and there just because the house was sitting and we were engaged. But as soon as the house adjourned, I told him that today, at all costs, I'll make myself available to share this information to you. I know you are now enlightened about what the marshal is about and what duties he performed. Next time when you stand somewhere and somebody is saying something else about the marshal, I am sure you have a better position to defend us or say whatever is right to the person that needs to know. So on that note, I thank you all very much. I'm so grateful. And I wish you all well in your endeavors in school. Please go ahead and then be the best that you can Who knows? I'll be here for the next 13 to 15 years. Some of you may come here as parliamentarians. And when you introduce yourself, and I also introduce myself, you say, sir, you were the one who told us this. You were the one who said this. Well, the world is a small place. The people you meet here today may be the same people you meet climbing up. So thank you all very much, and I wish you all the best. Happy Easter in advance.
Thank you very much, Sir Ifu Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu Rtd. I'm still learning. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, on behalf of Youth Impact Movement and its branches, Youth Impact Foundation and Youth Impact Parliament, we are very, very grateful for your attention and the respect and honor you have done us to be present for the first virtual session, as you have admitted, with the youth and students nationwide. Youth Impact Parliament is a young group that tries to build people, and as well, an engagement with you is basically an education for the future. We are grateful to you and your entire department. Basically, you are the Marshal. You are basically the Marshal. It's just a confirmation of your appointment, and we await that. We highly await that. We highly await that.
Let's keep praying.
Sure. The one you came to, who I actually acknowledge the work you did to establish security protocols before the coming of the speaker, and we are still learning from it. And as we have had this session with you, we hope that colleagues who will watch afterwards will equally learn and appreciate the job of the Marshal more. The picture that we used for this flyer, the first time that I saw it was when you wore it. I'm very curious whether it is a new artist for the office of the Marshal. He has been there for long. The green suits.
Oh, there are several ones that we have. We have a wine one. We have a white one. We have a green one. Okay, so the first time I wore this one is the. So this is the white one. That is our ceremonial dress. There is a wine one that we have as well. So the green one was the first time we're wearing it.
Yes, I realized because I haven't seen the Marshal and Deputy Marshals in that particular suit before. Yes. Okay. So due to that, we had to compulsorily use that picture because it was just booming. It was just booming for our guests. So we are very happy for this attention you have given us. Youth Impact Parliament will continue to uphold the principles of parliamentary democracy. And as you are a very enlightened person, because even during the mock sitting, you actually coached us in parliamentary procedures that we needed to do in order to carry out mock proceedings very well. So on behalf of my leadership and myself, the entire movement, and all student leaders here, I saw Wisconsin joining us. I also saw Heritage. UHAS SRC is here. Whole Technical University is also here. I think I also saw UCC and some other schools joining us. And those of them watching live. On behalf of all of them, we say a big thank you to you, sir, for this time that you have given to explain the Marshal and security to us. We are very grateful. On this note, I'd like to end today's program with a short word of prayer.
Okay, thank you.
Father Lord, yes, sir. Father Lord, we thank you very much for this day, as you have held this 19th edition of the Virtual Leadership Seminar with us. We ask for good health, promotion, wealth, and every good thing for our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kofi Ofosu Rtd, that he continues the good work in serving Mother Ghana and our entire nation and the good people of this country. And Father Lord, we commit our subsequent virtual seminars into your hands, that you promote the welfare of our entire country and students and the youth at large. In the name of Jesus, we bring this session to an end. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Do have a nice day.
Okay, you too.